Okay, so again, we're going to do icons. Those icons are going to go straight from the website to Illustrator. And the reason why we use Illustrator is because I can convert this into an object that I can use in my interface. Nice thing about an object is you can scale it to any size you want and it'll still look beautiful because it's not going to be made of objects, or it's not going to be made of pixels, it's going to be made of objects. So let's go and do that. To take a screen capture, we use Command Shift 4, all three buttons on the keyboard. Command, that's the one next to the space bar, Shift, and then the number 4. Notice how the cursor turns into a crosshair. And I usually start in the upper left corner and drag to the lower right. So if I use this, I'm going to click with the mouse and drag a box over this image you see here. And I'm going to release the mouse, and then listen what happens when you release the mouse. It takes a picture. You want to do it again, just go Command Shift 4 and do it again. It'll go and drag a box, release the mouse, and it makes that sound. See if you can do that. Command Shift 4. Now you'll notice it puts it out here on the desktop. Do you see that? Puts it out there on the desktop. And if you don't, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It is out there on the desktop. It should be called Screen Capture, Screen Shot. So next we're going to go into Illustrator and we're going to convert it into an object. How do we get to Illustrator? To get to Illustrator is down at the very bottom down here. You'll notice we should have a Photoshop, Illustrator, Photoshop, Illustrator. They're kind of next to each other. I'm going to open Illustrator by just clicking on the AI right there, and it should start the program. Don't worry, we're not going to learn all the tools in Illustrator. We have a whole class in Illustrator. The only thing we're using Illustrator for is to convert this thing to an object and use it in Photoshop. Once you have Illustrator open, it should kind of be open on your screen. It's a little confusing. Don't stress about it. To start Illustrator or start the program, you see it started already. It says Illustrator in the upper corner here. To start with a blank window, I'm going to go under File, New in Illustrator. And then I'm going to use the default 8.5 by 11 by 8.5. Do you see the one that says letter here? Again, it's just File, New, should have a window that looks like this, and just double click on the one that says letter. If you don't see recent there, you can always go to Print, and there should be one for letter as well right here, letter. And if you double click on it, it should open up a nice big blank white screen. Remember to hold the space bar down to give you a hand and you can move it around. We learned that last class. So if you're in Illustrator and you want to move the window around, you hold the space bar down. You see you get a little hand and you can drag with your mouse, holding the left mouse down like that. See that? So see if you can get Illustrator open. I will come around and make sure you've got Illustrator open. Yeah, there's a document set up. Okay, you got Illustrator open. Okay, we're going to place the object in there. You already got it. You're doing good. Did you take a picture?
Yes.
It's on the desktop, so go here, and I will import it. So you got Illustrator open? Good. And you took the picture?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. You guys okay back there? Okay, we're going to place our object in here. How do we place our object in here? Well, we're going to go to the desktop. So we go to File. No, we're going to go to File, File, Place, File, Place. And once we hit Place, we can go to our desktop right here. If you don't see desktop, you got somehow over here, there should be a way to get to and you should see your screenshot out there. See how it says screenshot right there? And we're going to say place. And then you draw a box, release it, and it puts it out there. So again, I'll do that again. So we're going to place our object here by going under File, Place, inside Illustrator. Go to the desktop. You should have your object out there. And we're going to say place. And it should give you this kind of crazy looking icon. And if you hold the left mouse down, you can drag and release the mouse. And you should have your thing. Did anybody got it in there? Okay, now we're going to convert it into an object and copy that object into Photoshop. To make this into an object, we're going to use something called image trace. To do the image trace, what we want to do is, though, we want to have just the black area. We don't want this white. We're going to get rid of the white. Just remove the white and just keep the black area. To do that, I'm going to bring up a window, and that window is called the image trace window. To bring up the image trace window is underneath Window. So the window pull-down menu, and the one's called image trace. Just bring that up. It should be in the middle. I know there's a lot of windows in here. Don't worry. You should take the Illustrator class. I'll teach you some of it, but not all of it. But this is the most important one. So it's called image trace. It might be jammed way over here somewhere. Just look for it. It should be called image trace. Look for it. When you get to the image trace option, I want you to go to where it says advanced. There's a pull down menu for advanced. And in the advanced, I want you to click the button that says ignore white. Ignore white. And by doing the ignore white, so again, once you get to the image trace window, there should be a arrow that points down here under advanced. Twirl that down, and the box I want you to check is the one that says ignore white. What it'll do is remove the white completely and say trace or preview, and then it'll do it. So once I hit trace, it converted this into an object. Believe me, it is an object now. An object that we could use as an icon. Where can I use this icon? Well, I could use it on my website. Okay, I'll show you a little web stuff in this class about how to put things onto a website. Usually, if I was going to use this on a website, I would use it as a font. There's a way to take objects and make them into a font, and then use fonts to put on your screen. Because it's easy to put a font on your screen, a letter on your screen in web programming. Much easier than trying to make it, or you can make it an object and put it on there. But I think fonts are good. One more step before we're done in here. Did everybody get that step? One more step. We're going to convert this into an object. We're going to get rid of all the white. White is still there. It said it's not there because we said ignore white, but it is still there. To do that, we're going to go underneath Object, Expand. Object, Expand. And then just hit OK. Now it's a true object. Now it's a true object. What can I do now it's a true object? I can change the color. So if you want a different color, you'll see over here in Illustrator, you'll see there is a color option here. So it might not be easy. No, that's not easy to change the color here. Let's not change the color here. It's not going to be easy. Because we'd have to convert it to an object that has color. And let's leave it black and white for now. Let's leave everything black and white today. I did say I was going to show you how to change the color, though, didn't I? I lied. Okay, let me show you how to change the color. This is not the easiest thing to do. The problem with this is it thinks this is black and white and doesn't have color. Let me see if the pull-down menu works. Oh, that works. There is an option up here. See it up here where it says group? There is a color option right here. That does work. Okay. You can change the color up here. See it right here? Up here. Right here. Okay. Let me see your icon with a color. Let me see your icon. Good. That's okay. All you got to do expand. You have to do expand. It's under edit. Edit. Expand. Oh no, it was under object. Oh, it was under object. Whoosh. Thank you. And hit OK. And then, oh. Well, you forgot to get rid of the white. That's what the problem was. Okay, go back in time. Command Z. Put that. Yeah. Now try edit expand. Now try. Object expand. Is it okay? Oh, just hit okay. No, I think you can. Okay, that's good. Now you can come up here and change the color. There you go. That's where I'm at. You have to change the color. You have to select it. Click on it. No. There you go. Now go. This little black one right there. Oh, it's not giving you color.
Use option down below. It says open color.
Yeah, I don't know. She's having a problem with color. Let's see. Okay, if you didn't get to choose the color, that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna go into Photoshop next, and we're gonna make a cell phone, an app. Okay, so we're gonna choose a cell phone size, and then we're gonna put an icon in there, and put some text next to it. Then we'll do it one more time, and that'll be it for the day. Then you can practice making your own list. So what I'm gonna do with this icon right now is I'm gonna copy it and put it in the clipboard. There's a mysterious area in the computer called the clipboard. So if you hit it, make sure it's selected. See how I have it selected with little dots around it? Do you see little squares around it? I'm going to copy this by hitting Command C. Command C. Command C. Now we're going to go into Photoshop. This is all we're doing in Illustrator is that part. We'll do it one more time. So then we're going to go into Photoshop. If you notice at the very bottom, you see there's a PS down there. It says for Photoshop. Let's open that up. Now it comes up with the default window. Okay. And what we want to do in a default window is make a new file. Create new. Do you see where it says create new? So again, open Photoshop. It's the PS down here. We're going to create new. And it's going to come up with a window. It looks like this, the new document window. Another way to get to the new window is under File, New as well. File, New. And that gets you the new window right here. And again, I just said we're going to make a cell phone, right? Let's do a cell phone. To make a cell phone is under Mobile. Do you see that there's like a menu that goes across the top right here? We're going to go to Mobile right here, Mobile. And you'll notice it has the iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, iPro Pad. This is an older version of Photoshop. This is 2018, so it doesn't have all the newest stuff in it. But the other teacher, Sue, really wants the newest stuff, so she's been pushing the administration to put the newer version on here. So hopefully she gets that possible, so we have the newer stuff in there. What do you want to do? iPhone 6 Plus? That sounds good. What do you think? Who has an iPhone 6? No, that's old. That's okay. We'll just use it anyways. So I'm going to use the one that says iPhone. Did you guys have iPhone 6 Plus on yours? Yes? 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 You have iPhone 6 Plus? Oh, you have the newer stuff? How'd you get the newer stuff? Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter, whatever one you want. Hit create. It gives you the size of the thing. Now I'm going to use the move tool. When you're ever inside of Photoshop, because remember, other teachers have been in here, always use the move tool. It's right here, this one right here, the very first one. Always use the move tool. Okay, we're going to paste that icon we made in Illustrator right into this window. To paste it in this window, we hit Command V. And it's going to ask us what kind of object we want to paste. Now, at this point, I'm going to use Smart Object. What does that do? It keeps it as a vector object, or an object that can scale big and small. If I choose pixels, it's going to turn it into dots. And if I try and make it bigger or smaller, it's not going to, it's going to look kind of crappy. Path, I use that in a different way. Shape layer is actually pretty good because you can change the color. But I'm going to use Smart Object right now, just because Smart Object is pretty smart. So I'm going to choose Smart Object and hit OK. And you'll see your icon there. You can move it around by clicking on it and dragging it. If you click the middle thing, it's just a rotating thing. Hit Escape. Oh, you don't want to hit Escape. Don't hit Escape. Uh-oh, I lost my icon. Don't hit Escape. There it is. There it is. When you're done, hit the Move tool and place. When you're done, hit the Move tool and hit Place. Okay, we have one object inside our Photoshop. So when you're all done, hit this Move tool again and place. It should ask you to place. See if you got, let me see your icon. Did you get in? Very good. Did you get an icon in there? Command V. V is in Victor. Victor. Command V. Place. Yes. Copy is Command C. And go over to the other one. Command V. Smart Object. And hit OK. There you go. And then place. Move it around. Put it where you want it. And then hit the move tool at the top. That one. A little place. Yes, place. There you go. Oh yeah, it's doing it. It's just taking a minute. And then it's waiting for logging. Whoosh. Look at this. Set to library up on there. I don't know why it's doing that. You got yours on there?
Yeah, but.
You can tell us to stop?
Yeah.
Why does somebody have the library all the way turned in? Okay, there you go. That's where we're at. Okay, let's do it one more time. Then we'll put some text next to it, and then you can make your own menu the rest of the day with some other. How about we do knife and fork? Oh, we got a spoon. How about we do bread? You want to do the bread? Okay, let's do it one more time. We're gonna steal from the Noun project again. We're gonna do the whole process all over again. Here we go. We're gonna go to the internet first. So open up the browser again. Go there, and we're gonna put in what, bread this time, or something else? There we go. Oosh, we got some good bread ones there. One of the things when I'm choosing to steal icons is try and make them similar. Did you see that other one was kind of dark? We were kind of black with a big white areas. So this might work, but this would be not, that wouldn't relate to the last one, would it? Not really. So this is kind of cool though. I like this bread. It's a little confusing though. But you know, the sliced bread, maybe people don't know what that means. Here in America, we all got our white bread that's all sliced up. But you know, a lot of countries, they don't use white bread that's all sliced up. You just get yourself a baguette and start chewing on it, right?
That's true.
So maybe this might not work for the universal, is what I'm trying to say. This might be more universal. I don't know. This is kind of universal. How about this one? I'm going to click on that one. That one looks pretty good for bread for me. Again, the steps are to take a picture of it. Take a picture is Command Shift 4. I'm going to draw a box around it. I'm going to release my mouse. Makes that beautiful sound that you just heard. Where did it put it? On the desktop, right? On the desktop. So then we go into Illustrator. And we place it in there. We could just move this one down. You can actually leave that one on the screen if you want. I'm just going to move it out of the way for a moment. And remember how to place it in Illustrator. You don't need to make a new one. You could just put it in the same one that you made before. You could just move it around there in Illustrator. You even keep the image trace up too. Go under File, Place. Grab your screenshot. It should be the latest one you did. Put that on the screen about the same size as the other one. Just like we did before by placing it. And then make sure in the image trace option here, if you don't see this, you can always get a window up. If you go under window, it pops up the windows here. So I'm going to go to where it says ignore white right here. Make sure you choose to ignore white again under image trace. That's under advanced. And then you can hit preview or trace, either one. And now it's an object. Remember, once it's an object, we got to do what next? Under object, what? Expand. That's it. Object expand. So we go under object, expand, converts it into an object. Remember, we could change the color here. We're going to make it a beautiful, whatever color you want there, whatever that is there. If you're having problems with color, you might need to convert this to an RGB. There is a window called color here. If you're having problems with turning it into color, in the pop-up window for color, there is an option for RGB or CMYK. It depends here. It doesn't matter for right now because once I put it into to Photoshop, it'll convert it to RGB anyways. But you might need to convert it here if you're having problems converting it into color. Again, to put it into Photoshop, we hit Command-C to copy, Command-C. Then we go back to Photoshop. We still have our app running here. We still have our app screen. And we hit Command-V, again, Command-V. And I'm going to do Smart Object. And I'm going to move it around to where I want. Make it a little bigger if you want, or scale it a little bit if you want. And when you're done pushing it, you can hit the Move tool right here. Boom, boom, and it'll place it. So now I have another icon. Look at that. We're building an app with icons already, and it's only the 3rd day of class. 4th day of class, I guess. I don't know. You guys are doing good. Did you get it in there? I will come and help you if you need. Last thing I'm going to demo will be text. So I want text next to my icon. If you look here, you'll see there is a text tool right here for text. You see it? It's a T in Photoshop. I'm still in Photoshop. And you can change the color before you start if you want. I'm going to do a nice dark blue text here. And I'm going to click next to my my icon, change the font size to something big, something really big. Remember 72 point is 1 inch. And then type in, what was our first one? What was our first icon? I can't see that on the, what's the word on the board? Dinner plate. Okay. DINNER, dinner plate, PLATE. And of course, this font's pretty ugly, so you might want to change the font by selecting it. Arial is pretty ugly. What's the default font for Android? We didn't talk about that yet. I was teaching my other class, and I'm sorry. So there's a default font on an Android device. It's called Roboto. Okay? And if it's not on this computer, we will put it on this computer. You will put it on your computer because you're going to want that. And what's the default font for iOS? Used to be Helvetica, and about 4 years ago, Apple changed it and they called it San Francisco. Remember, that's the default font. I don't know if it's on these computers. Let's see. San Francisco is a default. Whatever. There's a whole bunch of fonts on here. I don't know. We'll have to put them on. I will show you how to put those fonts on and how to deal with fonts inside of there. I don't know. For right now, you can use whatever font you want. So, those of you who have finished the first 2 assignments, I want you to finish this. Add a couple more icons and text for each icon. And practice that today. Practice the steps that we did. The rest of the class, I will come around and help you. And any questions? Or work on your discussion. You can do that as well. Okay, but I want you to finish the first 2 assignments that I've given you. I will come around and help you. Do you think you can follow these steps if you want? Well, you don't have to do this right now if you haven't done the first ones.